So how is IMSA going? How is my A license going? You might ask, and quite frankly, I didn't expect it to be so difficult. And I think that was the wrong expectation. I think it being a license upgrade, and not only that, going with the class upgrade of going from GT3 to LMP2, I should have expected there to be a bit more of a learning curve than there was. So I don't think it's anything that you would be out of the ordinary to experience. However, I just didn't anticipate it, and it is a difficult transition, so to say. It just can be very demoralizing to get your ass kicked, right? And especially when the alternative, it feels like, is going into an oval race, and that feels like everything is so much more close and so much more intense and so much more exciting. And because the races are a little bit shorter, all of that just gets condensed into a little bit more of a palatable, packageable experience, and it's a ton of fun. And so putting yourself into an IMSA race and making sure to be well practiced and have this setup, not just for the fixed setup, but for the open setup, and having something that you're used to and dialed into, and not just holding yourself back, so to say. And so it's taking a lot of time and a lot of practice to really to start improving in the LMP2 car, and I guess we're working towards it. So this race was, at the very least so far, obviously there's more time left in the week to have a race, but I could tell already that this is going to be, I think, a good representative race, because I think it has a little bit of everything in it. I think it is the start is pretty average for what I'm experiencing, especially the placement and just the timing of everything going forward. I moved up, as you can see, we moved up. We just got the message, you're in 5th, and so we move up further than anticipated, and it wasn't necessarily on-track passes that allowed us to move up so far. But here we are fighting for 4th place, so a little bit of both, but at the same time, just moving up through a little bit of luck, a little bit of skill, and a little bit of consistency. And through that, we see some positions that we haven't quite seen before, especially in LMP2. And not to spoil the video, but there is going to be some shall we say, some other excitement that occurs in this race, but we will, like we said, we'll save that for as it develops in the race. But you can see we're now up into a podium position in 3rd place, just really trying to stay above our pay grade, I guess you could say, trying not to mess things up. And as you can see, we can jump further into the race here. We get overtaken here by Eric Mitchell. We're going to be involved in a little bit of battle here now for 3rd place as we go side by side down the main straightaway. But I think that the biggest lessons that I'm really learning when it comes to the step up in both the class and the license group is about the type of practice that I'm going to be doing is going to become much more important. It's going to need to be much more productive practice as opposed to what I've normally been doing, which is just kind of running laps and not quite totally just hot lap practice, but for the most part, hot lap practice and track guide practice, what I like to call it, is more so making sure to learn the track solo, I think, but then going into races and really learning where I can improve myself just based on where I'm stacking up against others, and then having one big race at the end of the week, so to say, or one race time has kind of been my MO, and kind of, you spend the week getting ready for a best performance at the end of the week. And recently, the trend has just kind of been more trying to hang on, trying the goal, not necessarily having we gotta do, instead of thinking of the week like building and deploying a battery, like at a hybrid car, like when you're racing, instead of thinking about it like that, I'm just thinking about it as, so to say, the building, the battery. I'm just trying to get the base up. I'm trying to expand the skills that I have at my disposal, that kind of thing. Just trying to finish on the lead lap, finish with the leaders is the goal above winning or anything like that. And here we are, we're getting ready to go to our pit stop, and huge mistake, huge lapse in judgment here at Sebring. And I think these are very easy to have at Sebring. It's a tricky track. As you can see, those two just take each other out, as we'd have some argy-bargy here with an LMP2. This Carlos guy I've had a couple, that's the second incident in this video that we've had with him, and he's just one of those guys where if you don't just give him the track, give him the position, he flashes his lights, gets upset with you, and so that was no fun. But in the long run, I think it's one of those things where they don't make any kind of impact on your race. Like you can see, we're always pulling away from that guy every time we're near him. So, well, he is just a complainer. It's easy to get annoyed by him, but then it's harder to remember that you're not gonna have to worry about him too much, especially those kind of guys. So here we go. We're gonna go through our pit stop here. We did the smart thing and we tried to not add much more fuel than we needed, and we did not change our tires, trying to keep that stop as quick as possible. We got a little bit of a weird placement in the relative, not quite sure where we're popping out, but you can see things stabilized at 7th place, and trying to make a pass on lapped traffic at Sunset did not go well, and here we go. I'm not getting going well enough. I'm not, just really didn't. I thought I was going to be clear, but I just wasn't. But anyway, that's going to cause us to drop back a little bit. You can see Tim has jumped up ahead of us. Tricky place. Excuse me. To try to take over some lapped traffic. And we're getting into the end of the race now, and I want to reel Tim in. And this "we are where we expected to be" message on the radio, I think, was accurate. This is about where we expected to be, especially from pace and just qualifying, looking at things on paper. But having been up in 3rd position, it's really disappointing to see that. Well, we can theoretically at some points run in a podium position. We were expecting us to be just outside the top 10, or just inside the top 10 rather. So that was a little bit of a disappointment, but at the same time, it's about learning and managing expectations, I think, more so than anything else. And here we go, Tim getting caught up with some lapped traffic, and luckily I do have a little bit more traffic experience, because even though I might be new to it on iRacing, got seasons of it from R Factor 2, and so able to take a little bit of advantage of that. We get past Tim, and you can see we're coming back up to Carlos, who's always been a little bit of a problematic fella that we talked about earlier, so we're chasing him down. But he is actually not going to be the source of our problem coming up in the rest of this race here. So I'll try to save it. Oh, here we go. So here's where it starts coming up on some lapped traffic. Not exactly able to get through quite as quickly as we want. The car behind us gets up to us, catches up to us, and it's later in the race they're going to want to get by us. And they're going to start sending us messages, and I've included these little bits here because these are the things that they were upset with me about. That little chop there, they were upset with me about, although from my point of view it looked like they were running me into some lapped traffic. I don't exactly know where they wanted me to go, if they just wanted me to slam on the brakes. So yeah, that's really the rest of this incident is kind of our incidents with Joshua behind us here. Again, same place, same incident, trying to run us into some lapped traffic. And here comes the big one, though. Okay, I thought I misspoke. They claim that I dumped them there. I don't see that at all. They did let me know. I guess I shouldn't spoil anything. We'll get the messages coming in soon. But there we go. You will get protested. So they're going to send us a protest. I'm not concerned at all about that because I did not intentionally dump them. The footage will show that, and yeah, that's just not what happened. But anyway, that guy put me into some lapsed traffic, and eventually we crashed. But that was the race. IMSA's going real hard, real tough, and man, could use a break. But anyway, and not a break from IMSA, but just a break from hard racing. But we'll see you in the next one.